In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how a young couple tried to launder billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. You've probably heard the story about this unlikely duo that has been arrested in New York for allegedly conspiring to launder billions in stolen cryptocurrency. With a figure that big, you're likely thinking that this might be part of a well-orchestrated scheme involving the deepest levels of government as part of a state-sponsored hack, or perhaps a criminal organization like Spectre looking to destabilize the world. But based on what we know so far, it's alleged to have been masterminded by a young married couple, one an aspiring influencer slash rapper slash self-proclaimed crocodile of Wall Street, and the other an occasional magician. Welcome to 2022. All right, let's go past the headlines and dig into this dumpster fire. Hey everyone, my name is Preet and this channel is for anyone who wants to learn more about personal finance, investing, and the world of money around us. On February 8th, 2022, the United States Department of Justice announced that 34-year-old Dutch Ilya Lichtenstein and 31-year-old Heather Morgan, who goes by the name Razzle Khan on social media and even has her own catchphrase, Razzle Dazzle, were arrested in New York and charged with conspiring to launder $4.5 billion of stolen Bitcoin and conspiracy to defraud the United States. 6 years ago, 119,754 Bitcoin were stolen from one of the biggest virtual currency exchanges in the world, Bitfinex. At the time, the value of those coins would have been about $72 million. And after the hack was announced, the value of Bitcoin initially plunged 20% within just a few hours. Now, of course, the Bitcoin blockchain itself has never been hacked, and that's separate from the security of a virtual currency exchange. But when tens of millions of dollars are stolen, people don't tend to like that, and law enforcement doesn't tend to forget. Now, as of the time that I'm recording this video, one Bitcoin is valued at $44,047. So the total number of coins stolen would have a current value of just under $5.3 billion. The government has seized $3.6 billion worth of cryptocurrency linked to that hack. And it's worth reinforcing because I see a number of people who seem attracted to cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin because of an anti-establishment mentality, trumpeting things like, you can't trace Bitcoin and it's anonymous. Well, you can in fact trace Bitcoin and it's not anonymous. In fact, the immutability of the Bitcoin blockchain means that your fingerprints for any nefarious transactions or any other transactions are recorded in a public ledger and widely available forever. One analogy used about trying to launder Bitcoin is that it's like pulling off a jewelry heist, but leaving a map to your apartment at the scene of the crime. Which is what this couple almost literally did, and I'll explain. But this was apparently not enough of a deterrent to this Manhattan couple, allegedly experts in cybersecurity, given that Ilya Lichtenstein, sometimes going by the name of Dutch, was the founder of a blockchain startup that wants to stop fraud and terrorism in the global fight against identity theft. The most recent bio for Heather Morgan at Forbes, where she was a contributor, states that she was the CEO of that same company, EndPass. Ironically, one of her Forbes contributions was an article providing tips to businesses to protect themselves from cyber criminals. But, other cyber criminals. Now let's just take a minute to look at who this couple is because it's a trip. Ilya Lichtenstein has founded a few companies, including one by the name of MixRank, which raised $1.5 million from investors, including legitimate billionaire Mark Cuban. His Medium bio describes him as a tech entrepreneur, explorer, and occasional magician. But perhaps more magical is Heather Morgan, who bills herself as a surrealist New York City artist and rapper, the self-proclaimed crocodile of Wall Street, and goes by the name Razzle Khan because she's, quote, like Genghis Khan, but with more pizzazz. Genghis Khan is estimated to have been directly responsible for the deaths of 40 million people. I don't know what his reign would have been like if it had only had more pizzazz. Now, we don't know if Ilya Lichtenstein, and Heather Morgan were involved in the actual hack that led to the theft of all that Bitcoin, but they've been charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to defraud the United States. The money laundering could get them 20 years in prison, and the defrauding could get them 5 years in prison, so a total of up to 25 years. As of Tuesday, they were released on bonds of $5 million for Lichtenstein and $3 million for Razzle Khan, who also identifies as the Turkish Martha Stewart and the Waffle Queen of Korea. She did not specify if that is North or South Korea. One of the biggest unanswered questions is, who was responsible for the original hack? And how did those coins end up with this couple from there if it wasn't them? But in terms of answered questions, there are lots, as outlined in the statement of facts in the case presented by the Department of Justice. On one hand, the optics of a couple like this being tied to a multi-billion-dollar cyber laundering operation and linked to a gigantic hack of a virtual currency exchange seems paradoxical. And on the other hand, cybersecurity experts seem to paint their online machinations as naive. Let's take a look at what was alleged to have happened in the hack and how this couple may have tried to launder the stolen Bitcoin later. 119,754 Bitcoin were stolen from Bitfinex to one wallet in late 2016. At the beginning of 2017, a high volume of small transactions moved a portion of the stolen Bitcoin out of that wallet into a series of multiple accounts on multiple platforms. This was designed to conceal the movement of large amounts of stolen Bitcoin. However, investigators identified multiple accounts controlled by the husband and wife team of Dutch and Razelkon. The majority of the stolen Bitcoin stayed in the original wallet until January 31st of this year, 2022, when authorities accessed the wallet after decrypting a file in Liechtenstein's cloud storage account. That file had a list of 2,000 virtual currency addresses and their private keys. Authorities were able to seize 94,636 Bitcoin worth $3,629,000,000 at the beginning of February, just days ago. But let's look at the smaller portion of Bitcoin that was moved out of the original wallet to try and get a sense as to how much effort the couple put into trying to launder the coins. It looks like all of the illegal activity was determined to have been conducted by them. First, there were two main branches. One branch had coins moving from the original wallet and onto a number of wallets hosted on Alphabet's dark web market. One of the methods employed to move the Bitcoin into the Alphabet market was through what's called the peel chain technique. Essentially, this is when a series of transactions are initiated, and in each successive transaction, a smaller amount moves between addresses, and the peeled off amounts were put into Alphabet accounts. These little slivers taken off a lengthy chain of transactions are less likely to trigger any anti-money laundering red flags. A crypto launderer might programmatically create a large number of transactions like this to occur in a short period of time to make these very small slivers add up to move large amounts overall. Then, the darknet Alphabet accounts were used as a pass-through. Stolen Bitcoin was withdrawn and layered and then deposited into multiple virtual currency exchanges all over the globe. In money laundering, you can think of the process of layering as introducing more and more layers between the initial source of illegal activity and where the funds end up. So in this case, the stolen Bitcoin being transferred to the original one wallet was the original source of the ill-gotten gains, and then by moving to another account, you add a layer. By moving money from that new account into multiple other accounts, you introduce more layers. You can also convert one form to another, in this case from Bitcoin to other cryptocurrencies and so on. The more layers, the harder it gets to trace funds. In this example, one virtual currency exchange held 6 different accounts, all registered to Indian email addresses. VCE1, and VCE stands for Virtual Currency Exchange, had asked for additional KYC documents. KYC stands for Know Your Client. And when no documents were provided to verify the names used to open these accounts, the accounts were frozen. But before they were frozen, we see that funds passed through VCE1 and into a number of different locations. This diagram shows the peel chain technique in action, with slivers of transactions peeling off into other accounts. We also see other types of layering, including at BTC PSP1, where Liechtenstein converted Bitcoin into gold and then had it delivered to his actual home address. How do you set this all up and then have gold delivered to your home address? Occasional magicians. You can also see that a lot of these transactions end up at VCE5, an exchange in the US where he had opened an account in 2015 in his name, and the account was verified with a selfie and his California driver's license. Now, this is important. Alphabet used to advertise a feature called tumbling or mixing, which essentially takes a bunch of transactions all happening at the same time and breaks the links of coins in a transaction by swapping them with other transactions happening at the same time. The specific goal of this feature was to make your transaction more untraceable. But in the summer of 2017, when Alphabet was raided by law enforcement, the site taken down, one of its leaders found dead in a prison in Thailand, everything may have started to unravel. One of Alphabet's servers was seized in Lithuania, and it's speculated that that server held the key to relinking all the accounts and coins that had been tumbled through Alphabet. But now let's turn to the second branch. At least 2 accounts were registered at VCE4 under a Russian identity, and it doesn't seem to be disclosed exactly how, but these accounts contained a cryptocurrency called Monero, which was designed specifically to be difficult to trace and has been implicated in many criminal activities on the dark web for that reason. It's possible the details of how the Monero was identified as part of this laundering are withheld because they don't want to let other people know how they did it, or it could have just been as simple as Liechtenstein documented it in his spreadsheet that might as well have been titled "Details of My Money Laundering, Top Secret." This branch of laundering used what's called chain hopping, which is a layering technique. This simply refers to converting one form of cryptocurrency into another, ostensibly moving your funds from one blockchain to another. While Bitcoin's blockchain is completely transparent and anyone can download a copy, Monero's blockchain is designed to be opaque, with all transactions, senders, receivers, and amounts designed to be hidden. After getting converted back to Bitcoin from Monero, another chain hop, the Bitcoin eventually flowed into other exchange accounts registered to various companies owned by either Liechtenstein or Morgan. Another sub-branch flowed into VCE10, another exchange with accounts open under German, Swiss, Russian email addresses, along with some disposable email addresses. And at this exchange, which specialized in converting Bitcoin into prepaid gift cards, a number of gift cards were purchased with the laundered Bitcoin. One gift card was for Walmart, which was then used on the Walmart iOS app to purchase items from Walmart, all delivered to their home address. Other gift cards were purchased for other companies such as Uber, Hotels.com, PlayStation, and so on. So it looks like there may have been 2 key events which helped to unravel this alleged conspiracy to launder money. 1. Liechtenstein storing a copy of all his passwords to thousands of crypto addresses, including notes on which accounts were frozen due to suspicion of money laundering, in a cloud storage account which was seized via a warrant. And 2, possibly the seizure of the server in Lithuania for Alphabet that may have contained the key to relinking all the obfuscated transactions they may have provided in their Tumbling service on the darknet. What's the takeaway from all this? It's a bit of a double-edged sword, really. On one hand, this couple, who do not sound like criminal masterminds or are particularly smart, were part of a multi-billion-dollar money laundering fraud. Is it too easy to launder money using cryptocurrency? I don't know, but it's certainly scary, whatever it is. But at the same time, law enforcement is showing that they are dogged in tracking down these crimes, and their ability to do so is getting better and better as more resources and expertise is developed in this arena. As always, it's an arms race between actors, good actors and bad actors. And you know what they say. Razzle dazzle. If you like this video, I would appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to learn more about money and managing your finances. And of course, hit the bell to turn on notifications for when I publish new content, and I will see you in the next video.